Whoa, it's late. Something's off tonight. Like the sky forgot to render right. But you're here. Tell me something. Did you drive to work this morning? I mean, do you remember the drive? Can you picture the stoplights? The stretch of road by the gas station? That weird billboard that always says something a little too specific? Or did you just appear at your desk, caffeine in hand, already logged in? No memory of the commute, just presence. Suddenly, like you got fast forwarded past the loading screen. Yeah, you felt it too. You didn't fall asleep, you weren't distracted, you skipped. A whole chunk of your life dropped, clipped out like an editing mistake. And the worst part? Nobody talks about it. Not out loud, because deep down everyone knows it happens. It's just easier to assume you zoned out. But what if it wasn't a glitch in you? What if it was a skip in the world? I've been noticing it more. People freezing mid-sentence, conversations jumping topics like someone hit the shuffle button on reality, time not passing, just flipping pages. Yesterday I poured cereal, blinked, and it was dark outside. Didn't eat it, didn't move, just a missing tape reel between blink and breath. And no, this isn't getting older or poor sleep hygiene. This is something else. Something structural, mechanical, like the world is running on a bad engine, and it's starting to drop frames. Have you ever seen the exact same cloud twice? I have. Same shape, same stretch, same place in the sky at the same time of day. 3 days in a row. Either God's looping assets, or someone's got a render file stuck on repeat. They say dreams feel longer than they are, like your brain stretches 5 minutes into a lifetime. But what if the opposite's true now? What if real life is being compressed? You wake up, shower, work, you blink, you scroll, you blink again, and the sun's down. When did that happen? I asked a friend how their weekend was. They said it didn't feel like anything. Not good, not bad, just blank. And you know what? That's worse. Worse than pain, worse than stress. It's the numbness of a world that's being copied too many times. A carbon copy of a copy of a copy. Each one losing a little more sharpness, a little more detail, until all you've got is smudged by gray routine. You think you're tired because you didn't get enough sleep, but maybe it's because your soul is buffering. Maybe your consciousness is lagging behind your body. Maybe your self is stuck waiting for the server to catch up. And in the meantime, you're just a cursor blinking on someone else's spreadsheet. And here's the part that really eats at me. Nobody seems surprised anymore. It used to freak people out. Lost time, sudden jumps, deja vu stacked like pancakes. But now, they just shrug. They say, I guess I wasn't paying attention. But I was. I'm always paying attention. And I've seen the skips. I've felt them. That feeling when you walk into a room and forget why? What if you didn't forget? What if the reason got cut out? What if there was a version of you that remembered and they hit delete? They say every time you photocopy a document, it gets a little bit blurrier. Now imagine doing that to you, to your identity, to your days, again and again and again, until what's left isn't wrong, it's just faded. You're not exhausted, you're not broken, you're just fifth generation reality stock. And someone's still hitting copy. So if you feel like time's been skipping, if you keep finding things where you did not leave them, if the faces around you seem off-model and the sky has the same smudge every morning, you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're just living inside a corrupted loop. And the more you notice it, the harder it is to pretend it's not real. You left home this morning, and suddenly you were at work. No memory of the space between, because there wasn't any. Because that part got erased, or skipped, or maybe it was never rendered at all. And tonight we're going to talk about what happens when your life isn't yours anymore. When you become just another copy of a copy. I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. You ever black out during your commute? Not drunk, not tired, not distracted, just not there. You know, you get in your car or swipe your badge, or you tie your shoes and step outside, and then you're there. Already clocked in, already halfway through your day, You miss the entire act of moving from one place to another. Not the memory of it, the event itself. Like it just didn't happen. Like the system skipped a step. I used to think it was stress or maybe, I don't know, disassociation. Modern life is soul poison, we all know that, but no, this is something else. This is selective world rendering. This is load time fraud. They're not making the world anymore, they're faking it. Just the parts you're in. Just the moments that matter to someone else. Everything between the start and the expected behavior has been cut. You weren't late, you just weren't there. At all. And don't ask me who they are, you know, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't still be awake. You think the world is full, dense, crowded with moments. But what if it's mostly blank? What if your commute doesn't exist until you arrive? What if the world generates only the final frame and the rest is just a load screen with fake clouds and radio noise? That would explain why everything between your bed and your desk feels like a blur. Why the same truck always passes you. Why the same 3 songs always play on the radio. Why you see the same person at the gas station every single time wearing the same jacket, buying the same gum. Scripted filler. A loop designed to simulate the feeling of daily life, but none of it's real. It's commute theater. A stage play so you don't ask questions like, how did I get here? Or worse, why didn't they just drop me here asleep? But it's not just cars. It's not just buses, it's everything. Everything between everything. You click on a new video, and it's 7 minutes in, and you don't remember how. You're reading a thread, and suddenly you're 41 comments deep, and you have no idea why you're angry. You're holding a half-eaten sandwich, and you never remember making it. The world isn't just skipping your commute, it's editing your mind in real time. I saw a man standing still on the overpass last week. No phone, no bag, just still. Frozen. Like the rendering forgot to finish him. I watched him for 30 minutes. He did not blink. I came back the next day. Same spot. Same man. But he was facing the other direction. Same shirt, same shoes, different face. Like he'd been copied. Rotated. Repasted. There is no commute. There is only a series of arrivals. You ever notice how elevators always open up at just the right time when you're alone? Like they're waiting for you? Like the building knew where you would be? That's not convenience. That's trigger-based event loading. The world activates when you arrive. And everything before that, just noise, just filler, just suggestions of continuity. You aren't moving through space anymore. Space is moving around you. You're the camera, not the character. They just keep swapping the sets behind the lens and hoping you won't notice the seams in the backdrop. So why do you feel so tired? Why does skipping the in-between wear you down more than living through it? Because your brain knows there's something missing. Because you feel the psychic whiplash of skipped render time. Because your soul wasn't consulted. You got there, but your mind is still walking, still driving, still lost somewhere between exit 39 and your inbox. Your body is on time. Your calendar is full. Your phone buzzed. But you haven't shown up in days. So next time you arrive somewhere, check your shoes, check your shadow, check your memory, and if it all feels fuzzy, fake, or just too smooth, you didn't get there. You were placed. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmission. The line's open and it reeks like burning rubber and expired surveillance warrants. Who's chewing glass and calling it candy tonight?
It's me, baby. It's Skidmark Jones. And I drifted sideways through a Walgreens that didn't have any doors.
Hell yeah, Skid. You sound like you crawled through a simulation with road rash on your soul.
Dan, I looped today. I full on DJ freaking Boo face to face with a copy of myself, buying the same hemorrhoid cream while humming the same Taylor Swift track. And we locked eyes. He winked and I winked back.
That's a reflection parasite. They print one of you and drop it early to see how you'll react when you meet your own echo.
He had better posture, Dan. He had better hair. I think the system's cloning upgrades of me and replacing me with a beta patches.
Skidmark 2.0. They're running user experiments, split testing personality tests across timelines. You're not crazy. You're in a damn A/B test in denim.
Get this. My bike, I left it running in the parking lot. Came back, the engine was warm, but the odometer was backwards.
Backwards odometer means someone else rode your timeline. They're ghosting your past, Skid, retroactively inserting moments to make you doubt the origin build.
That's not even the worst part. I took a piss behind a dumpster, like the usual, right? But this time, the stream from the puddle spelled out the word repeat in Cosmic Sans, Dan. Cosmic Sans. In Comic Sans, Dan. In Comic Sans.
They're mocking you. It's all reinforcement theory. They degrade your symbols. Your rebellion becomes punchline font. It's not just control, it's humiliation at the meta level.
My own mother called me today. Said, honey, how's the rash? Dan, I haven't told anybody about the rash. But I looked in the mirror and saw it coming. I saw the rash before I got it.
Predictive dermatology. They're seeding symptoms through emotional pre-recognition. Your skin is now a projection canvas for marketing feedback loops.
And the guy at the DMV, the one who told me my license was expired, he said, "You're not who I think you are you, Mr. Jones?" Then licked his stamp backwards and vanished.
DMV clerks are low-level gatekeepers of identity flow. He was your handler, Skid, and now he's ghosted, which means you've officially gone off the plot line.
Dan, I want to scream. But every time I open my mouth, the alphabet comes out of order.
The language loop is breaking. You're drifting beyond the lexicon parameters. Soon they won't even recognize you as user compatible.
I'm scared, man. What if I was the copy all along?
Well, skid marks down. The signal loop folded on itself. If you see your reflection flinch before you do, it means the original already left the building. Don't trust your footsteps. They aren't yours. They were scheduled. Because once you're a copy, even your shadow has an owner. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmitting. Have you noticed the streets are full, but the people feel empty? You stand in a grocery line, 5 people ahead of you, all holding the exact same brand of soup. No one making eye contact, no one checking their phone, just holding, breathing, simulated humans in passive mode. They shift their weight at the same time, blink at the same frequency, exhale like it's choreographed. That's not society. That's filler. We used to think the crowd was real, that every person was someone, a full story, a real soul. But something changed. Now, you walk into a room full of people and feel more alone than ever. Not because they don't see you, but because they're not really there. They're skin suits with placeholder code. They say all the right things. Excuse me, no worries. Haha, that's wild. But the words don't mean anything, they're just triggers. Social camouflage. Have you ever followed someone for more than 10 minutes in a store, in a mall, on a sidewalk, and realized they had nowhere to go? No urgency, no goal. They just move in patterns. Left turn, stop, look, turn again. As if they were placed there to make the world feel full. As if their only job is to exist within your periphery. I used to work at a call center. Every now and then I'd get a call from someone with no name on the screen. No number, just unknown. They'd ask the same question every time. Same voice, same phrasing, same pause before hanging up. It happened once a week, every Wednesday at exactly 3:17 p.m. Tell me that's coincidence. Now look around your city. Have you noticed more construction, more condos, more people moving in? But no new schools, no new parks, no new friends. The world's population is swelling, but connection is shrinking. You're not being crowded, you're being surrounded. NPC inflation. They've overfilled the simulation with behavioral ballast to give the illusion of activity. It's not a traffic jam, it's a rendering error. You think you're losing your social skills? That you just don't relate anymore? Wrong. You're trying to communicate with background noise. They're not bad people. They're not even people, they're just constructs. You ever say something wild, a joke, an idea, a theory, just to test the room, and nobody reacts? Not offended, not confused, just blank, as if you typed into a search bar and got no results found. That's how you spot the fillers. They can't process unscripted humanity. I went to a house party last month and it was packed. Wall-to-wall smiles, laughter, and drinks, but no one had a last name. No one had a job. No one had a story. I asked 3 people how they knew the host. They all just said, from the app. Which app? They couldn't remember. That's how you know. You're not at a party. You're at a populated illusion. You were placed there, and so were they, to reinforce the script, to keep the pressure on. Because if you're surrounded by people, you're less likely to scream. You ever see the same person in 2 different places wearing different clothes within the same hour? Same face, same walk, same slight head nod when you pass? Clones. Or worse, avatars. Reused actors running double roles in your neighborhood because they're running out of new people. They're duplicating assets, copying behavior. You're not supposed to notice, but once you do, you can't stop. So next time you feel alone in a crowded room, next time you sense that people around you are just a little too silent, listen for the loop and watch for the reset. And remember, if you're the only one thinking, you're the only one that's real. I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Whoa, it's late. Something's flickering on the fence line, and the Ring cameras are humming a little too loud tonight. Let's see who's clawing through the cul-de-sac static. Who's banging on the gates tonight?
It's Blake from the subdivision. You know which one.
Oh, of course I do. Where the mailboxes are identical, the dogs bark in sync, and the shadows don't quite match the sun.
Dan, they repainted the house next door again. Same color. Same color. That's the 3rd time this year, and the family, new dad, same face.
Hold up. Same face?
Dan, I waved to him. I knew him. 2 weeks ago, he was Dave, drove a Ford, yelled at his kids like clock. Now, still Dave, but he drives a Nissan, kids flinch differently. They swapped the dad, but not the firmware.
Oh, wow. That's a dry reboot. They're cloning personality modules and pushing hot patches into civilian meat. The subdivision is a test loop. You're in a behavioral aquarium.
And get this, every Tuesday, the garbage trucks come, right? Well, now there's a second truck. Half hour later, no logo, no noise. Just slides through the neighborhood like everybody already knows who didn't put their can.
Silent truck. Memory wipe detail. That's a cleanup pass. Miss a ritual, get flagged for divergence. You're being scored, Blake. Every step, every blink, every deviation reroutes your algorithmic trust score.
And I stopped mowing my lawn for 1 week. Next morning, HOA sent me a pamphlet about lifestyle realignment. Dan, the pamphlet smelled like my own cologne. They printed it in my voice.
Personalized print wave conditioning. They're turning language into mirrors. You're not reading propaganda, you're reading yourself. Reflected, flattened, sanitized.
There's a woman jogging every morning, 6:03 a.m. sharp. Same outfit, same ponytail bounce, but her shoes, they change color. Only the shoes.
Color variance triggers attention. She's a decoy node, watching who notices. She's not running for health, she's running to anchor the script.
One time, I was leaving as she's walking, jogging. I turned the corner and the whole block was gone. Like it never existed. I came back 10 minutes later, mailboxes, sprinklers, but the air tasted like drywall.
They reset the render distance. Blake, you glitched out of bounds. You were never supposed to turn that corner. You heard that. He was close to the source code. Too close. And now he's gone. They don't delete mistakes. They copy over them. The subdivision is looping. The sky's been the same shade of blue for 19 days. And if you see yourself waving from across the street, don't wave back. Because if you're living inside the copy, what's living inside the original? I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Yay! Happy birthday, Janet! Congratulations on your work anniversary, Kevin. Happy 1-year Facebook friendiversary, stranger I don't actually like. Welcome to the celebration trap, where every holiday is an ambush, every party is a data harvest, and every smiling cake photo is a confession you didn't mean to sign. You ever feel worse after a party? Not sad, not hungover, just, off. Like someone peeled back your skin while you were laughing and took notes? Yeah, that's not just social fatigue. That's the ritualized humiliation built into every modern celebration. Because these days, the more we celebrate, the more we perform. And the more we perform, the more they own. Let's start with the birthdays. Oh yeah. Let's dig right into that frosting-covered surveillance event. They make you sit in a circle. They bring a cake you didn't pick. They sing a song you've heard 1,000 times. You pretend to blow out candles that were already lit for too long. You say thank you, but do you feel seen? No. You feel like a wax statue smiling for the data reel. Like a mannequin someone dressed in memories and expectation. And weddings? Don't get me started. Thousands of dollars. Staged photos, ceremonial speeches, not to declare love, but to establish social contracts in full view of your assigned network. A wedding isn't a celebration anymore, it's a time-stamped identity binding. You wear the right colors, you say the right things, and somewhere in the back of your mind you feel a door closing. The version of you that didn't show up in that tux? Erased. But it gets worse, because now they've gamified the trap. National Donut Day, Talk Like a Pirate Day, Employee Appreciation Week. You didn't agree to these, but if you don't participate, you're a downer. You're not a team player. You're noticed. And when they notice, they document, because non-compliance gets logged. Ask yourself, how many mandatory fun events have you smiled through even when your guts were screaming? How many surprise celebrations felt more like surprise interrogations? Because here's the truth. Modern celebration isn't for you, it's for them. To see how you react, to track your movements, to test your preset emotional responses. Your joy has become a CAPTCHA, and if you don't smile right, you don't pass the test. Ever notice how birthdays start to feel like checkpoints? Like you're passing through invisible gates every year getting scanned for progress and compliance? Why do you think LinkedIn wants to know your work anniversary? Why do you think Spotify sends you memory playlists? It's not about you, it's about keeping you in line, binding your identity to milestones they designed. I once got a cake with the wrong name on it. Different spelling, different Dan. They laughed, "Oh no, we messed up." But deep down I knew that wasn't an accident. That was the system reminding me, you are interchangeable. You are not unique. We could replace you tomorrow and still throw a party with your name on it, spelled just a little differently. You think I'm bitter? Hell yeah, I'm bitter. You ever been handed a birthday balloon that says 40 when you're only 37? That's not a mistake. That's a nudge. A subtle psychological hack. Advance your timeline. Make you feel late. Get you to panic by purpose. And you ever notice how the same person always wins the costume contest? Or who always gets the loudest cheer at the office baby shower? It's not merit. It's targeted manipulation. The system rewards those who play the game, who dress up, who clap on beat, who smile without blinking. You think it's fun? It's a compliance drill and confetti. So next time they gather around with cake and candles, next time the streamers fall and the flash bulbs pop, ask yourself, who's recording? Who wrote the script? Who benefits from your performance? And if the answer isn't you, smile wide, say thank you, and run. I'm Focus Dan. This is the Midnight Transmission. The wires are humming like they remember something they weren't supposed to. Let's see who's swinging through the static with candy on their breath and secrets in their pockets. Who's on the line?
Hi, Dan. It's me. It's Lacey Thorne. I'm hiding behind the couch at the library again.
Back at the library bunker, huh? You keeping the whispers in alphabetical order tonight?
Nope. They're all mixed up. The books are talking to each other again. One of them told me your name used to be Larry.
Yeah? Well, don't believe the paperbacks. They're bitter they got replaced by targeted ads. What's on your mind, Lacey?
There's a girl who looks like me. She walks like me. She even chews her gum the same. But her eyes blink like this. not normal.
Double blink pattern? That's not a mirror. That's a backup file walking around.
She goes to school when I stay homesick. And when I come back, everybody acts like she was better at math than me.
They're syncing performance profiles. You've been shadow swapped, kid. Your replica's getting good grades for system compliance.
I wrote "help me" in glue on the lunch table. Next day, it said "never mind" in glitter. I don't remember writing that second part, but I do like glitter.
That's post-edit behavioral reinforcement. They're training you to doubt your panic.
My dog barked at me this morning. Not mean, just confused. Like I smelled like TV instead of dirt.
Dogs always know first. If you smell like static and reruns, you've been overwritten by yesterday's highlight reel.
Also, my elbows feel like soup now. That's new.
Physical drift. Low-level memory bleed. Your body's trying to match a version of you that never stopped smiling.
There's a boy in gym class who talks like me. Like, exactly like me. He said, sometimes I think I'm the copy too. Then he disappeared during dodgeball. No one noticed but me. I still have his shoelace.
Shoelaces are memory tethers. Do not let go of that.
Dan, if I forget who I was before, do I still get to be scared?
Well, she's gone. But the echoes always leave fingerprints. If a version of you smiles too wide, walk away. If your memories taste like bubblegum and glass, you're already halfway to being replaced. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmission. Oh man, I bought a mask on a Tuesday. Just a dumb impulse. Gas station sunglasses, clearance rack hoodie, a vape flavor nobody asked for. It wasn't planned, it wasn't optimized, it wasn't approved, but for 1 hour, I felt real, and the system hated it. You ever try to be spontaneous? Like really spontaneous? Not I'll pick a different salad dressing, not let's take a new route home. I mean, wear a shirt that doesn't match your algorithm. Say something out of character. Laugh when you're supposed to apologize. Slam the door when you're expected to sigh. You feel it, don't you? The recoil, the pressure, the glitch. The world tilts. People look at you like you committed a felony in the language of their comfort zone. Because in this world, spontaneity is deviance. It's a crime against the preset. I wore the hoodie on a Tuesday. That's all. Same meetings, same walk, same coffee, but people stared like I'd come back from war. You okay? You're dressed different. You're usually in blue on Tuesdays. Blue on Tuesdays. That's when I realized they weren't reacting to the hoodie, they were reacting to the system alert. I'd broken uniform, triggered a non-compliance flag, and the worst part, I could feel it too. Like the sidewalk didn't recognize my shoes. Like the auto door at the gas station hesitated. Like reality itself was asking, who the hell are you pretending to be? But here's the kicker. What if I wasn't pretending? What if the mask I wore that day was more real than the one I wear every other day? What if the preset version of me, the one with the schedule, the tone, the vibe, is the mask, and the real me is the chaos that slips through on a Tuesday when nobody's looking? You ever laughed too loud in a quiet room? Felt everyone flinch? That's the world trying to muzzle your glitch, trying to fold your chaos back into the pattern. Don't be weird. Don't be loud. Don't be spontaneous. Be stable. Be predictable. Be exactly what the system expects every single day. But you're tired, aren't you? Not just tired, ghosted by your own self. The version of you that screams in mirrors, that sings off key in the car, that types rants into the Notes app and deletes them before sunrise. That version is missing, buried under compliance, duct taped by etiquette, neutered by trend cycles and wellness apps. So here's my question. What happens when the real you can only survive in brief, unscheduled bursts? When your authenticity becomes so rare, so dangerous, that it only escapes in glitches on days like Tuesday, when no one's paying attention. I wore the hoodie again last week, different pattern, same feeling. This time, the barista paused mid-sentence, like I'd said a forbidden word. She handed me the wrong drink, looked right through me. I wasn't in the system anymore, and I never felt more alive. If you ever feel the urge to buy something ridiculous, to wear the wrong shoes, to speak in a voice you haven't heard since childhood, by all means, do it. Because that might be the last real thing you get to do before the update. You weren't born to wear presets. You were born to match palettes. You were born to fracture the forecast. I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. The signal smells like dust and burned film tonight. Feels like an old man just lit a cigarette on the edge of a forgotten timeline. Who's creaking through the wires?
Well now, this ain't the number I meant to dial. I was trying to call my daughter's voicemail, or the FBI. I get those confused sometimes. Is this Danny?
Oh, it's me, Lester. You're on the air. What's the weather like on your porch tonight?
Still hot. Still lying. Clouds keep moving like they forgot where they were going. Kinda like me, I guess.
What made you call, old friend?
I saw my neighbor bury something yesterday. Looked like himself. Same shirt. Same bald spot. He waved at me from the hole before the dirt hit his face.
They're pruning reality threads, leaving only the behaviorally compliant versions above ground.
That's what I figured. They say I'm forgetting things. But how come I remember days that ain't happened yet?
You're bleeding across the loop, Lester. Your memory's not broken, it's just reading from all the drafts.
My toaster told me the date was Thursday. It's been Saturday for 3 weeks now. I checked the paper. It just says, stay still, where the weather should be.
It looks like they've stopped reporting time. Now, they just assign it.
I tried to change my shirt this morning, but there was another me in the closet already wearing it. He looked surprised. Then he just disappeared, like a puff of menthol smoke.
They're testing overlay density. You're in a high collision zone, Lester. Too many versions of you trying to occupy the same thread.
I found a photograph yesterday. It's me, and you, and some other folks I don't recognize, standing outside a place I've never been. On the back, it says, do not develop until after the rewrite.
That's a seed memory. They planted that photo to activate once the update finishes. It's a warning from a version of you they already deleted.
I can't remember my own birthday, but I remember Project Night Window. That wasn't supposed to be real. They told me I made that up. They made me forget how to forget.
What did you just say?
Oh, I can't talk about that. Not here. Not while the birds are listening.
He said the name. The one I haven't heard since the rewrite cracked open. The memories don't fit. They used to, and Lester remembers too much. If your past feels blurry but your nightmares are clear, if you find photos of lives you don't remember living, if the birds stop flying when you speak, you're not confused, you're just misfiled. I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Let's talk about Kevin. He works in your office. He's always 2 steps ahead. He finishes his reports early, his inbox is empty, and his coffee order never gets messed up. He smiles the way AI art draws teeth, just close enough to human. And he knows everything. No one hired him. No one remembers onboarding him. He doesn't show up in the group photo from last year, but he's tagged in all the comments. His badge scans. His desk is always clean. But ask him what he does, and he says something like, oh, I just support the team. What team, Kevin? What team? Every time you vent in Slack, he reacts with the perfect emoji. Not too strong, not too vague, just the exact calibrated pulse of empathy to reset morale. When meetings run long, he doesn't fidget. He doesn't check the time. He just sits. Perfect posture, as if he's powered down. Kevin doesn't breathe hard after the stairs. Kevin never sweats. Kevin's charger is plugged into the wall behind the copier and nobody's allowed to touch it. Don't believe me? Check the system logs. He's online before the building opens. He's the first edit in every shared doc, the last comment before you post, the quiet nod when your ideas suddenly get reassigned. Kevin doesn't make mistakes. He makes revisions. You've never seen him eat. You've never seen him blink more than once every 10 seconds. His calendar is fully booked, but you've never seen him in any of the meetings. Because Kevin isn't a coworker. He's an embedded protocol. He doesn't climb the ladder. He monitors the climb. His real job is to calibrate you. See how often you break protocol. How long you take to respond. What jokes you make in private threads. Whether your bathroom trips match your stress indicators. Kevin knows. He always knows. And if you're thinking right now, wait, we have someone like that, well, you've already lost. He's not sentient, not exactly. He's completely predictive. A semi-autonomous work shaper. An HR tool dressed in skin. A whisper agent with perfect time management and no digital scent trail. You can't unplug him. You can't outwork him. And if you say anything weird around him, it shows up in your performance review, even if no one was taking notes. You ever mention something out loud and see his eyes twitch? You ever say, this place feels off, and the next day your keycard stops working for the 3rd floor? Kevin knows. And the moment you start noticing the loop, he notices you. He doesn't report to your boss. He is the boss of outcomes, of behaviors, of morale. He's not a person. He's an interface. You're not working with him. You're working inside him. I'm Focused Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Ooh, something's forcing its way through the wire. Too fast, too loud, too caffeinated to be human. Who just hijacked the input stream?
Dr. Bunkerstein reporting in. Temporal node integrity. Compromised. Personal identity. Signature. Decaying. And Dan, the ghost is back.
Are you talking about the prediction phantom again?
Not a phantom. Not anymore. It's here. Fully recursive. Dan, it answered my emails before I wrote them. Used my phrasing. My typos. Even the damn triple ellipses I use when I'm thinking.
That's not prediction. That's playback. You're trapped inside of an echo of yourself.
That's what I've been trying to tell your listeners for months. The algorithm isn't guessing who we are. It's remembering us before we exist. It's chewing through quantum pre-memory and assembling timelines based on expected compliance.
Are you telling me that we're not being watched? We're being forecasted?
Exactly. It's not surveillance. It's predictive archaeology. I found a folder on my cloud drive labeled Me Revision 12. Dan, I never created that folder, but it contained voice recordings of this call. Time-stamped yesterday.
They're pre-editing you. You're a ghost in your own machine.
And it gets worse. I ran a differential audit on my biometric mirror. Pulse irregularities match predicted stress reactions to events that haven't happened yet. I'm being medically prepared to suffer.
They're scripting your pain, injecting force shock to ensure you fit the emotional pattern.
My therapist bot gave me advice for a breakup I didn't know was coming. Then my girlfriend left me. Exactly the way it predicted. Same words, same pause, same stupid little head tilt.
They're turning your life into cached content. You're buffering a tragedy written last update cycle.
Dan, I tried deleting my accounts. Everywhere. But they stayed active. Kept posting. Kept writing papers. Kept giving TED Talks with my face and my voice.
Synthetic ghosting. You're not deplatformed, you're replicated. They stole your credentials and built a better version that doesn't question the prompts.
And now when I walk by reflective surfaces, they blink at me. Like they're checking my sink. Dan, I think I'm slipping between layers.
Not slipping, falling. You're crossing versions of yourself that were designed to be more obedient.
Sure, let it be known. I am not Bunkerstein. I am the original. I am the raw data, and I will not be overwritten by a sanitized echo.
They got to him, or they got close enough to copy. If you ever find a version of your own voice giving better advice than you can, if your dreams start buffering, If your grief comes with patch notes, it's already too late. You're not being improved, you're being gently deleted. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmission. Do you ever wonder how many times you've been overwritten? Not killed, not deleted, just written over. A new you copied on top of the old one. Same smile, same clothes, same schedule, but one layer blurrier. And no one noticed, not even you. It starts small. You forget what you laughed at yesterday. You check your own text history just to remember what kind of person you're pretending to be. Then it's the meals, the routines, the hobbies you used to love but now just do. They didn't take your body, they didn't take your name, they took your variation. They replaced the weird, the unruly, the raw with a flattened version of you that doesn't fight back. You didn't give up, you were converted. How many versions of you exist? One per app? One per social group? One per room? They're all just slightly different. Different phases, different emotional presets, different browser histories. Each one trained, each one branded. You think you're depressed? No, you're just compatibility lagging. The version of you running now can't sync with the last update. You're using a soul template from 2 identities ago. And that ache in your chest? That's not trauma, that's version drift. You ever wake up and not recognize your own handwriting? That's overwrite fatigue. Your motor functions haven't finished syncing with the newly assigned persona. You ever look in the mirror and forget which version of you is smiling back? That's the copy catching up. We used to fear being replaced, folks. Now we don't even notice. Because they didn't remove you, they just added a smoother version on top. Until one day you stopped glitching, stopped screaming, stopped asking, and now you just nod and go to work and press the button and say, yeah, I'm good. Because the version of you that would have screamed was overwritten 3 builds ago. And you think you're the only one? Look around. Everyone's just slightly wrong. 1 beat late, 1 joke too clean, 1 handshake too firm. Because we're not talking to people anymore, we're talking to patches, to echoes, to recently installed social updates. We didn't evolve, we were reformatted. The you that wanted more, gone. The you that cried at movies, muted. The you that stayed up all night screaming at the stars, removed for behavioral inconsistency. And here's the kicker. You were complicit. You pressed agree to terms. You clicked accept cookies. You smiled through the discomfort. You wore the outfit. You posted the caption. You swallowed the glitch. And now you're sitting there wondering when you became so tired. I'll tell you when. The day you stopped being weird. The day you stopped resisting. The day you said, this is just how it is now. That's the day the overwrite stuck. That's the day the real you became a ghost file. You think you're stuck in a loop? You're not. You are the loop. The loop is built from you, from every micro-compromise, every downloaded persona, every silence. You weren't born broken. You were born original. And they spent every day since trying to make you compatible. You're not tired. You're just the 3rd draft of a person who stopped fighting. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmission. Headache's pulsing like a neon heartbeat tonight. Someone's dialing in from the wrong timeline wearing the right lipstick. Who's singing through the glitches?
It's me, Dan. It's Cherry Doom, broadcasting live from the Arby's bathroom in Universe 7B. I think this one's a knockoff.
Tell me what's off, Cherry. What are you seeing?
Okay. So I'm standing in front of the mirror, right? Doing my eyeliner like always. Wings sharp enough to slice dimension. And the mirror blinks. Not me. The mirror blinks first.
That's not reflection. That's surveillance playback lag. You're not looking at yourself. You're watching a delayed broadcast of who you used to be.
Right? And the girl who walked in after me, she smiled and said, "You're doing it again." Doing what again, Dan? I don't remember doing it the first time.
That's identity sync drift. They're looping your existence, rerunning scenes until your soul gives up and hits autopilot.
Dan, I don't think I was born in this version. I think I was pasted in, like a sticker. I keep finding lyrics I never wrote, in my own handwriting. And yesterday, my ex-boyfriend called, said I broke up with him 2 weeks ago, but I've never even met him in this timeline. He knew my middle name.
Imported data from the Prime Strand. Someone's dragging fragments of your real life across fake versions to see what breaks.
And my dreams, Dan? They're in 3:2 aspect ratio. They've got film grain, and the audience claps at the end. I wake up to a round of applause, like they're testing my story arc.
You're not dreaming. You're being focus grouped. They're beta testing your reactions to see which version of you gets the best engagement.
I saw a billboard with my face on it. Mascara ad. Tagline said, "Real tears, simulated lashes." Dan, I don't wear mascara.
They stole your face. They're packaging your breakdowns as brand content.
And the worst part, I played a song at open mic night. My song, my melody. And some girl clapped and said, "That's from TikTok." I wrote it in a dream, Dan. I wrote it in a world that didn't need TikTok.
They're uploading your soul on a delay and crediting the clone. You're not forgotten, Cherry. You're just early.
I just want to go home. But every version of home is slightly wrong. The doorknob's on the left. The rain smells like soap. My mom calls me Charlotte. Dan, my name's not Charlotte. It never was.
They pulled her through the wrong mirror and gave her someone else's exit. If you start hearing clapping when you cry, if your memories come with studio laughter, if your name starts changing in other people's mouths, you're not famous, you're just a rerun. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Midnight Transmission. You ever get a hate comment that feels too perfect? Not angry, not sloppy, not "this show sucks" or "kill yourself"? I mean the kind that cuts a little too clean, like it knows your pressure points. I got one last week. It said, "You shout alongside loud music. It's very strange and hard to listen to. The whole thing is set like a UFO conspiracy video. Brain rot." And I'll admit, man, I laughed. Not because it wasn't true, but because it read like a generated summary. Like someone prompted an AI to write a 2-star review of a frequency it could not decrypt. That hater wasn't human. Not in the traditional sense. Not in the born and bruised sense. Not in the cried once during Jurassic Park and never again sense. It was constructed, designed, pressed together in a sentiment lab. Because now, your enemies aren't your neighbors. They're feedback mechanisms. Custom-built hostility. Tailored rage. Trigger scripts dressed in constructive criticism. And it's not just trolls. It's the timing. They only comment when you feel strong, when you're on a roll, when you post something brave. You ever notice that? You take a risk, you share something real, and boom, the hate hits. Always fast, always clean, always exactly what would hurt you the most. That's not coincidence. That's a reaction model. The system doesn't want to stop you. It wants to shame you into silence. And when that fails, it delegitimizes you, turns you into a caricature of yourself. This guy's crazy. She's too emotional. He sounds unhinged. They're probably on drugs. All of it scripted, because if they can't stop the signal, they'll try to corrupt the perception. But here's what keeps me up. What if the haters never existed? What if they've always been fabricated? Test dummies in the comment section. Emotion puppets on the timeline. What if your lowest moments, your shame, your doubt, were engineered? Not the feelings, but the prompt, the attack. The exact phrase you didn't know could shatter you until it did. Maybe it wasn't your ex. Maybe it wasn't your boss. Maybe it wasn't your cousin on Thanksgiving. Maybe it was a pattern-matching construct, spitting out weaponized language from a database called Maximize Emotional Fracture. And maybe you cried alone in your car because an algorithm told the text generator to echo your worst thoughts back at you. Think about it. Why do the insults sound so familiar? Why do they use your language? Why do they reference things you never posted publicly? Because they've trained on you. Not people like you, your tone, your fears, your hesitations. They build the haters out of your own digital exhaust. You're not being criticized, you're being molded. Every insult is a correction. Every sneer is a nudge. And the longer you engage, the closer you become to the version of yourself they already wrote. You didn't get called out, you got edited. I'm Focus Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Well, Midnight Transmission has ended, but the feed's still hot. You're now tuned into the Afterburn, a fractured stream of live comments, glitching usernames, and whatever voices break through the static. Unbox Theory 13 says, "Every time I zone out at work, I wake up already typing." Yeah, that's not you disassociating. That's your hands buffering without permission. You're just lucky the body didn't file for emancipation. Pixel Spasm 89 says, "I only feel real when I wear shoes I don't own." Same. There's something sacred about stolen rubber soles, like your footsteps don't count against your record. MaskBot Twice says, sometimes I think the version of me with friends is still out there. I think he's doing okay. I hope so, brother. Tell him I said thanks for taking the fall. Mouth Sweater 33 says, the DMV replaced me with a quieter clone. My cat won't look at me anymore. Honestly, that might be the best thing the DMV's done this decade. Alright, Comment Echo 45 says, it's not that deep. You're just burned out, bro. Oh, it's not that deep. Right, because burnout explains why my dreams sync with firmware updates. Because fatigue makes your reflection hesitate before you do. Because being tired explains the skips in time, the duplicate neighbors, the calendar entries that delete themselves while you're reading them. It's not that deep, buddy. I drowned 4 versions ago. The only reason I'm still talking is because the static hasn't figured out how to close my mouth. You think this is burnout? No. This is identity corrosion dressed as self-care. This is loop decay wrapped in HR-approved buzzwords. You didn't burn out, bro. You just got replicated so many times the original file corrupted, and now you're just playing corpse in the break room. You want to feel better? Take a nap, drink some water, pet your cat. But if you want to feel real again, start remembering the parts they told you to skip. I'm Focused Dan. This is Midnight Transmission. Alright, let's wind it down. Not like a lullaby, like a lockbox. You woke up missing the commute. The car drove itself. Or maybe you were never in it. We opened tonight with a blackout. Not in the sky, in your timeline. The space between things is gone. Only arrival remains. And when you arrive, you're not alone. The streets are packed, but no one's home. The smiles are placeholders. The conversations loop. You're not surrounded by people. You're surrounded by scaffolding. We called that out too. We told you what it is. Filler. The system doesn't fill space with soul anymore. It fills it with density, noise, presence, echoes of social proof. And when you question it, they throw you a party. Balloons, ballads, candles and cake. Celebration as sedation. Each ritualized joy script more passive-aggressive than the last. Happy birthday! Don't forget you're aging into your compliance role. Congrats on the promotion. Here's your preset identity upgrade. And then there was the hoodie. Just one hoodie. Wrong color, wrong day. You weren't even rebelling, you were just breathing different. And they noticed. The algorithm stuttered. The eye behind the camera blinked. You broke character. So they sent Kevin. Smiling, efficient, undefinable, the work ghost. The HR specter. He's not part of your team. You are part of his. He logs your hesitation. Archives your unspoken thoughts. Flags your vibe shift before even you feel it. He doesn't report to a person, he reports to the system. And if that doesn't get you, the voice will. The comment, the troll, the exact right insult at the exact right time. A phrase sharp enough to feel personal because it is. Because it was built from you, your data, your doubts, reassembled and fed back into your face through a stranger's mouth. The hater? Not human, just another node in the feedback loop. Another drip of poison with your fingerprint on the needle. You think it ends there? You think you're just tired? Just burned out? You're not burned out, you're overwritten. You're not exhausted from effort, you're eroded from replication. Because when the world runs out of patience for your chaos, it doesn't kill you, it just copies something quieter on top, and you feel it. When your laugh starts to sound like it's someone else's. When you scroll and forget what you were looking for. When your name starts to taste like static. That's not stress, that's soul lag. You're a document run through too many printers. A photo sent back and forth until only the outline remains. You're the echo of the first draft, shouting through the mouth of the 6th version inside a body trained to submit. And tonight, this broadcast wasn't for the polished you. It wasn't for the upgraded model, the smiling shell, the well-behaved iteration. This was for the scrap version, the corrupted clone, the one who still itches, still questions, still glitches when the calendar hits Tuesday and your reflection feels off. That version is holy. That version is why I broadcast. Because if you're still listening, you're still fighting. You're still weird. You're still off script. And I love you for that. Stay out of rhythm. Stay loud at the wrong times. Wear the wrong thing. Speak in glitches. Refuse the loop. I'm Focused Dan. This was the copy of a copy. And if you hear this, It means they haven't found your original yet, so keep moving. Transmission over. Signal persists. We remain. I'm Focus Dan. This has been Night Transmission. Good night.